Okay, today I went out in the backyard with the 100 by 402 and no teleconverters at all. And it did a lot better. When I put that 2X on it, I just can't get clear photos. I don't know why. I see other people on Facebook that seem to manage it. It does, the images look a little bit soft. But when I do it, no way. I just can't do it. It doesn't make any sense. Now, if you take a look at this, where, and this is DxO, is what this is. And if I show you the properties here, you'll see when I came in, I was using TV mode. And where's my ISO here? 3200. That's high. So let's take a closer look at the picture. And I cropped that in. So that came out pretty good. Now, if we look at this in Digital Photo Professional, which is Canon's program, and I've zoomed in here, you'll see the red box goes here, here, here. This is where the focus point is. And the only time you can see the focus point is with Canon's program. So if you want to see where you're messing up, like if your photos are blurry, definitely get the Digital Photo Professional 4. It's free. And then you can see where your actual focusing has taken place. So my focus was dead on, and notice the eye focusing did not happen in the R6 on this photo. It was just a square, and that's what finally came out, which is kind of cool. That's not bad. That tells me the lens is pretty clean. You know, these were taken on a bird on the ground eating donuts. We had a whole bunch of leftovers. And you'll notice there's not a lot of color. I mean, Tennessee's kind of weird. Like, we get cold days, we get warm days. Today was about 50 degrees Fahrenheit. But everything's very dreary. A lot of grays. There isn't a lot of color out there right now. And it was pretty dark. So that's not bad there. And he wasn't very far from me. I mean, he really wasn't. But he turned out pretty clear. Now, if we go and try and find him in the Canon program, see if I can find him on the ground. I think that's him there. We're going to go out. And you'll see there's my focus points there. You see the red? So I'll come down a little bit more. There's where he's eating the donuts. I got the square on him. He's eating some donut there. There he is there. Now this one's almost on his head. You see it there? That's pretty much on his head right there. And you'll notice when I zoom in, it's not very clear inside the Digital Photo Professional Canon. This is why I don't use this program. And you notice it kind of lagged before it started adjusting. It's just not as quick as DxO. But the red square goes here. And it never went for the eye, where the R6 goes in for. And I did have it turned on. And there he is looking up, and we got the red square going this way. And it's just cutting out the tip of his head, so literally our focus is right here. And if I go back here, that's the same photo. And you'll see how that's coming in. And as I zoom out as far as I can go, that's about the distance he was away from me. Now, if I pull up the image properties on this, I'm running in TV mode, ISO 1600. So I was able to keep the ISO a lot better playing around with this. I find I'm liking TV mode more than AV mode. I was shooting a lot in AV mode with the EOS R in my Canon 80D, but I'm finding TV mode, I'm playing with that more than I am with the AV. So like I said, if you're finding focus ain't dead on, or you're not sure where the focus was, do it in Digital Photo Professional, which is offered free by Canon, and you'll see where you're focusing. And here's the square here of the red, as you can see it there. Okay, that whole photo is blurry. Now this one here, you'll see the square. I missed the eye. The eye's over here, but the square's over here. So I didn't hit him dead on. And this allows me to have practice, and I wasn't sure why the eye wasn't coming up. And what I mean by that is, on my R6, I've changed it to where I only allow 2 focus points. I allow the square for pinpoint focusing, and I allow the eye detection where it follows their eye. And that's it. All the rest I have turned off. I use back button focusing, and what I do is I use the star, which is beside the back focus, to switch between the two. So I can switch between the eye following, or I can switch to just the tiny square for pinpoint focusing like you see here. And that's how I got it set up. So I just go flick, boom, onto this. So normally what I'll do is I'll flick it to just the square, which is what you see there. And then once I have the square on them, I'll hit the star button and flick it to the eye following and see if that kicks in. That doesn't always kick in. Sometimes I'm too far away or whatnot. So that allows me to switch between them and get the right focus I want. See, this one was all blurry. And I do shoot off like, I just rifle like 10 shots at a crack. But here you'll notice it was not lined up. And I was shooting from a tripod, so it does make life a little bit easier. None of these were handheld whatsoever. But I do like the DxO for really messing with the images themselves. You see that one's kind of gray. And I'm shooting in a neutral that I kind of tweaked a little bit. Is what I'm doing. You know, and there's birds here, 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 here. I think I was going for this one. Is what I was going for. So if I was to crop that in, that would look like that. So that looks pretty good. I do have a lot of birds around my house right now because I do feed them. Especially when it starts getting cold right now. And I did notice, and I'm surprised I didn't catch them, the birds all disappeared. And, oh, they were squawking. And I'm talking like 1,000 birds squawking like they were pissed. But I couldn't see any of them. There was none of them at the feeder eating. There was none of them anywhere. And this went on for a good 20 minutes. And all of a sudden, I seen this great big hawk come out of the tree. I was like, oh man, why didn't I see you where you were sitting? You know, that would have been a nice shot. But he come out of there, just missed my truck, went right down the middle of the road, and then he went back up into the sky and disappeared. So those birds were pissed. I mean, they were like sending out warning signs like, hey, danger, danger, and I need to pay attention to that better next time. So that's not bad. It's a little bit. It's not perfect. Maybe I'm too hard on myself. I don't know. Like something like this is literally almost impossible to get. I was really messing with this to see, can I get the focus to penetrate through all this to shoot just the red cardinal? And I couldn't get it even with the pinpointing square. I couldn't get it through there. So I was messing around with it and basically just checking out my limitations on what I could do. So if you're running any form of program to you know, and some of your photos are blurry and you're not sure, then go get the Digital Photo Professional 4 off of Canon's website, which is free, and go see where that red square is sitting, and you'll see where your focus point was, where you were focusing in. And you can tweak and everything with this with a bunch of settings over here if you really want to get crazy. I just find when I use DxO that I can go into apply presets at the top right, and then I can select a whole bunch of them, and then I can decide which one I really want to edit with. I can do black and white, I can whatever I want, old film. It has a lot of choices, but most of the time when I usually run is I'll do the standard or I'll do no correction. So let's say I do this one, and I think that's the one I use most of the time. I haven't touched anything. I just click one button and I have a look at it and see how it looks. Now if I really like this and I cropped in, for example, then I would start tweaking it and seeing what I can play with to make it more clear. But this is without any teleconverters. This is me just playing around. So, like, what's this one? See, that's a cardinal. He's kind of hiding off on the side. And he's hanging on here. Not bad. And that's with the 100 by 400 with no teleconverter. So it is better to shoot without a teleconverter. I'll tell you that right now. And oh, he's pretty there, right? So that's kind of nice. And you notice they're not eating these berries. These things must be poisonous or something. They eat more from the feeder than they do those. And we have less birds here in Tennessee during the falls, and well, we're in the winter now because we're going into January, but we have a lot less. I didn't see any blue jays, so they must be gone for the winter or something. This one was cropped in already. I was playing around with it. Now this was shot on a tripod. It wasn't shot. I didn't shoot by freehand. I was just trying to figure out how my focusing was working with my two-step process where I click the star and it changes between the two focus points. I'll make a video and show. Once I get all this dialed in, I'll set up a video and I'll show you what my settings are, and maybe you can give me some suggestions or whatever on what I've been doing. But it shoots better with the 100 by 400 than a teleconverter. That might be why most guys use the 1.4. I haven't tried that one yet. But when I use the 2X, it just ain't sharp enough. It just ain't pretty. Because then I'm shooting at an f11 when I'm fully extended to 800. So, and like I said, this is, I'll leave it there. And you can see everything that was coming in. So, all right, guys, I'll catch you on the next one.